So what I'm trying to do here is make this spindle, vertical spindle, exactly perpendicular to this lathe bed in both this direction and this direction. And one of the ways to use it is to use two dial indicators. These particular dial indicators can rotate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this pair of dial indicators and set one of them on a number. Here I've set it to 5/1000th of an inch. And if I look over here, this is 10/1000ths of an inch. So either the dial indicators are off or the table is not perpendicular to the spindle. We don't know which it is. So what we'll have to do is first calibrate this device to make sure that it's either the dial indicators are off or the spindle is not perpendicular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take any piece of metal, a nice flat piece of metal, and I'm going to put it under this dial indicator and set it to a value. And I've set it to 5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the other dial indicator over here and look at it, and it's not reading anything, so I'm going to lower it a little bit more. Let's set this one to 5, and then we'll bring this one back over here and set it to 5. Okay, so this dial indicator reads 5 when it touches this piece of metal. This dial indicator reads 5 when it touches this piece of metal. We'll just check it one more time. Okay, so they're both reading 5. That means that the dial indicators are perpendicular to a plane, but that doesn't mean that that plane is perpendicular to the table. So now I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to touch the table with the two dial indicators and set it to a value. Let's say I set this one to 0, and we'll see this one is set to 4 below it. So the table is tipped 4/1000th of an inch over a distance of 5 inches. Now if something's off 1/1000th of an inch and 5 inches, that's approximately 1/100th of a degree. So this is about 4/100ths of a degree off. The way I'm going to correct that is I've loosened the bolts. There are 4 bolts that hold the head that allows it to swivel, and what I'm going to do is tap it with a lead hammer. Now this one, if I tap it this way, very close now. Went a little bit too far. I have to have the same reading, and it looks like I'm very close to it right now. And that's about as good as you're going to get right there. Okay, I've double checked here and tightened all 4 bolts in the head. I've set these 2 meters to read the same thing. And now what I'm going to do is, let's set it over here to say to 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swing this around and look at the meters again. The meters are on ball bearings, so you can rotate it and see them. You don't have to use a mirror to see what's going on in the back. And so I'm about a 0.5 or so off here, which is good enough for practical purposes. Next thing you want to do is check to see how the lathe looks in this direction, and they're both reading 5 exactly there, so there's no tilt in this direction. Some mills have a Bridgeport will have the ability to change the direction in this direction. Here I don't need to do it, and in fact the only way to correct it here is I have to put shims under the back of it, over the pedestal. Okay, so if I rotate this around, I can see if these things are staying right at 5, a little bit off, 4.5.